Hi, do you know what today's thought? I'm recording this on Friday, but I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that everybody had a great weekend. So now that you had your great weekend, we get back to business and today's thought is about Pete Hegseth, who I'm sure you know is Donald Trump's nominee to be Secretary of Defense. Princeton, Harvard, 20 years of military experience, Iraq, Afghanistan, 2 Bronze Stars. He would seem to be, well, it's pretty obvious to me, highly qualified to be Secretary of Defense. Of course, there's one little problem, well, 2 little problems. One of them is that he was nominated by Donald Trump. So that's number one. And so no support from Democrats, I'm sure, and probably maybe some Republicans too, who would not approve any of Trump's nominees. But we'll see what happens. Now, I'm sure some of them will get unanimous Republican support, but Hegseth seems to be running into some problems, and it's kind of iffy right now whether he gets confirmed. Now, Donald Trump, to his credit, is solidly behind him. He came out again and said that he is, because there's been talk of him throwing him under the bus and nominating Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, instead. And no, Trump said, I'm solidly behind this guy, as he should be, especially somebody like Pete Hegseth, who has been intensely loyal to Donald Trump. So Donald Trump should, at the very least, support him all the way through his confirmation. And he really, if you're talking about on merit, he should be confirmed. Now, they're trying to, his opponents are trying to bring up some sexual abuse or impropriety allegations, basically the Kavanaugh treatment. And if you're old enough to remember, the Clarence Thomas treatment. It looks like whenever there's somebody nominated for an important position, the Democrats will accuse them of some kind of sexual, assault or rape or whatever in Kavanaugh's case, and sexual harassment in Clarence Thomas's case. It comes up all the time, and as with those, the same thing with, but they seem to ignore, if you will really think, because it barely got any coverage, but Joe Biden, Tara Reid, remember her? Tara Reid accused Joe Biden of sexual harassment, and that went nowhere. Well, of course, because Joe Biden is a Democrat. But we're talking about Hegseth today, and there have been accusations, but none of these people who have made these accusations have come forward. Maybe no one has gone on the record of accusing him of these things, but doesn't matter. They're trying to bring it up. And the other thing is his, I guess he had a drinking problem for a while. Now, you see him all the time on Fox. People who work with him have said, well, they have seen no evidence of him being intoxicated on the job. What he does when he's not on the job is his own business. But I want to talk about as I heard mention of this thing about drinking, it reminded me of Abraham Lincoln. I'm a little bit of a student of history, maybe some of you are, but Abraham Lincoln and Ulysses S. Grant, without whom it's arguable that, we'll never know, that the North would never have won, that Lincoln would never have won the Civil War without Grant, because he went through several other generals and had to fire them because they weren't performing, they weren't winning. But he got Grant, but Grant was accused of same thing, of being a drunk, of drinking and thus being disqualified. So this Lincoln, when when he was approached, urged to fire Grant, he had a couple of responses, and that's what I want to share with you today, because I think Trump could use the same ones. And the first one is that when they first suggested get rid of Grant, he said, I cannot spare this man. He fights. And that's what he was fighting. He was winning battles. And he got, actually, they joked that, Ulysses S. Grant, U.S. Grant, that the U.S. Stood for unconditional surrender, because that was his terms, unconditional surrender. Though, he did make terms with Lee at the end of the final surrender of the Army of North Virginia at Appomattox. But he was known for fighting to victory. And so Lincoln said, I cannot spare this man. He fights. And it looks like, well, the problem, I said there were two problems with Hegseth, and now I remember I didn't tell you what the other one. And the other one is, okay, number one, he's a Trump nominee. But the other one is that he wants to reform the Pentagon. He wants to get rid of all the wokeness and the political correctness. And he, I read in a couple places that he doesn't want women in combat, which was opened up under the Obama administration. And he made the same point that I had made. I don't know if I did it in a thought, that whether you think that Hegseth said, and he understands the problem. He says that the services are having a recruitment problem. People aren't joining, men are not joining enough to fill the recruitment quotas, and part of it is because a lot of the people who serve in the military are white males from the South, but just white males, and they don't like the idea that they cannot be promoted on merit, and they don't want to. I think it was the Air Force, if you look back, you'll find where the soldiers, male soldiers, were required to walk in women's high heels, to march in women's high heels, to get a sense of what it's like to be a woman or something. This politically correct nonsense. And I won't bother, showing them today. You may have seen videos of these transsexual, trans soldiers male soldiers dressed as women and dancing. And there was, he wants to get rid of all of that, and especially the women in combat. If that's true, there's pushback from the female senators, and so there's a problem there too. So to get back now, so he wants to reform, and that's one of the problems that they're having with him. But the accusation, I told you about the sexual, impropriety or harassment allegations, and then we have the drinking. So I just told you, Lincoln said, I cannot spare this man. He fights. And the reason I brought up the reform is because he's a fighter. Hegseth is a fighter. He's going to fight. He's going to reform the military. And, well, if he's a Secretary of Defense with the full backing of Donald Trump, he can do it. So that's why a lot of people are trying to keep him up, and they're trying, one of the accusations is this drinking. But Grant had, as I said, the same accusations against him, that he was a drunk, that he was always drinking. So here's what Lincoln said, his reply to that accusation. And he said, quote, "Well, I wish some of you would tell me the brand of whiskey that Grant drinks. I would like to send a barrel of it to my other generals." And that's what Trump should say. He should just quote Lincoln. I cannot spare this man. He fights. And regarding his drinking, tell me what brand it is that Hegseth. I'll ask Hegseth what is the brand of whiskey that he's drinking. I want to send a barrel or a case of it to all of my generals. So that is the response that he should do. And I'm just going to add a final note here, because about the drinking and the things like that. Hegseth is married. I believe he has 7 children. happily married. His wife, you could see a video of him when he's going, when he went to Capitol Hill the other day. His wife was with him, arm in arm with him, and whatever drinking he did, he also gets criticized for having, I guess, a tattoo of a cross. And this is they're trying to characterize him as some kind of religious fanatic, which this is the other thing that bothers me. Even though I'm Jewish, I don't like this attack on Christians. I just don't like it. It's not right. This is America. But he said it a couple times that his Savior, Jesus, changed him, that he whatever he did, he is a changed man now. And I wish Trump would talk about that too, because he deserves the benefit of the doubt. If he's on Fox News, he's responsible, sober as far as I can tell, at least when he's on the job. He has a wife, he has several children. He deserves the benefit of the doubt. And I have to wonder, a lot of these people that are trying to sink his nomination, a lot of them, if not most of them, because we're a minority, we Jews, they're Christians. And I have to ask myself, well, what kind of Christians are they? If they won't give him another chance, if he says he's reformed, and if all the evidence shows that he is reformed. So that's my thought for today. Just summing up to reprise what I said earlier. Trump should say, I need this man. I cannot spare this man. He fights, number one. Number two, if you think his drinking is a problem, about his drinking, well, tell me what brand he drinks, because I want to give it to all my generals. And that's my thought for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Comments always welcome in the comments section below the video. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.